So this is going to be a third part video to the micrography lesson. This is going to be the last part. What we're going to do at this point is do some things with large letters, okay, in terms of shaping words into shapes to kind of fit within shapes. And I can show you an example of this where it's been completed. So this is my second time doing this image. The first time, this was my first time. And as you can see here, this is what I created. I took some, Abraham Lincoln was called Honest Abe. So I thought I'd take those words and then incorporate those in some way because they're unique to Abraham Lincoln. And I was trying to think of a way to incorporate honest, and I thought, well, maybe we can fit that within his hair up here. And then Abe, I thought maybe you could try on the outside. So we'll try that again. I'll show you how I did that. Okay. All right. So first off, let me go ahead and click on this top layer because we want our text to be on the very top. So I go to my type tool and I click on that. So I need to make sure whatever, I can change the color later. So just right now, go with something about like that. It's different than what's in the blue background, kind of bluish background. And then as far as the font goes, maybe, I think this is the font I used when I did the other sample. So maybe I'll go ahead and stick with that. I can also change that. I do want the type to be pretty large. Let me just click here, see how big that is. Okay, so we'll go with that for now. All those are things I can change, the color, size, and the font after I do this. So type in honest. I'm going to do all caps. And then check that. So I think that font's going to work pretty good. I think that color might work pretty good within that area. Wouldn't work too good out here. It's about the same value, but here I think it works okay. All right, so first off, we got to kind of position it where we want it, okay, to the best of our abilities using the transform tool, free transform. So Command T on your keyboard is the quick command for that. And I'm going to move that over and position it. We'll zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to turn that because it's kind of an angle right here a little bit. So I'm going to turn that into space. So we're going to try to fit within that space as best as we can, just with doing the free transform. And then hit return on that. Okay. So now to shape this, we're going to have to rasterize the type, which means right now this T means it's not rasterized. We have rasterized type before, so maybe recall how we do that. But if you two-finger touch on this field right here on that layer, go to rasterize type. And now it is something we can bend and shape. And the way we do that, we're going to go up to Edit. We're going to go to Transform. We're going to go to Warp. Now what Warp does, it puts this sort of a mesh on it that we can then take each one of these and then kind of just push and pull, and you'll see in a second. So let me just grab this corner because I need to bring the E kind of down to the hairline. That's what we're trying to do, is I'm trying to fit this word within this area, basically. Okay. All right. So let me pull this down here. As you see, I got this handlebar right there. Now it happens at every corner. So as you can see right there. But then also you can grab at this corner. And sometimes if you don't grab on that corner, it'll let you know you didn't do that correctly. So for instance, if I clicked out here, a lot of times it'll tell me, huh, Anyway. All right, so I'm going to pull this up here. You can pull that, but you can also grab on this part and then push too. All right, and then if I didn't do enough, so I'm going to come down here to these as well. Now I feel pretty good about that E. Now once I move something, it's going to move it again, possibly in other places, then I might have to go back and readjust. So you see, I mean, it works pretty good. Now it's not going to be an exact fit, but it's going to be very close. So let's see, pull that in there, pull that down there. We'll do a little bit of that to that. Pull this up that way. And that's the thing about a mesh. Like when you pull or push one area, it's going to affect another area as well. So you might have to keep adjusting and readjusting. All right. So once I'm done with all that, I'm going to click on check and commit. So there's Honest. Honest is now shaped within that area. Now we're going to do Abe down here on this corner on the exterior. So you just find the places where you want to put words later when you get the chance to make your own creative version of this, where you pick your own portrait, you pick your own lettering and type for it to create a face, you pick the background, however you want to create that, and then whatever words you want to shape into these large areas. Okay, I'm going to, of course, share some student examples with you on that when we get to that point. So now we're going to create a new word of Honest Abe. So if you recall back to here, I had that here and I used white. I think I'm going to stick with that. So got my type tool, got the top layer selected. So I'm going to click down this area and just type in Abe. Remember, I'm doing all caps here. Now this time I don't want it to be white. It's on the exterior. So or something kind of maybe near white. Or maybe I will do basically white. Let's click OK on that. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. So free transform again. So I can put it down here in this area, get it as close to that space or shape to fill that area as possible. Just kind of wedge that down in there, maybe make it a little bigger. Okay, so that feels pretty good. Let's see if I can zoom in on that area so we can see that a little better. Now I'm going to hit return, and now I'm going to go to edit, transform, and then warp. Oh, what I forgot? I forgot to rasterize. That's why it didn't work. So if I go double click on this layer, two finger touch on my trackpad, it's not working. Oh, I wonder if, okay, it's not letting me do that for some reason. I think it's because I did that. You see there's a check right there, which means when I did to that warp is engaged somewhere. I don't see it. I'm going to hit the check and okay. So all things can kind of go awry if you don't do things appropriately. So solve that problem. So now we've got that rasterized. Now I should be able to warp it, edit, transform, warp, and now we got what we want here. We can progress. So let's pull this E down to here. I think I want to pull this. I think I'm going to have to do that to there. Let's pull the B And then pull this one. Curious how, mesh, there's not much of a mesh on this, and since the mesh is so small, it's not giving me a lot of options on what I can push and pull and askew. Let's see. You just decide what you think looks best in terms of how much or what type of shape. Since I don't really have a shape right here that I'm trying to fill in with this, all I have is this area and this area. If I zoom out, I'm just trying to go based on what I think kind of looks good. I kind of like how that kind of flows right there with the shoulder from his head. So I guess that's kind of what I'm going based on for this upper part here. Do I want to do something like that, or do I want that? So I'm just trying to use my own judgment on the upper part of the word. See how that looks. I feel pretty good about that. So if I did that, I don't know, it kind of gives it sort of a 3D rounded bulbous kind of look to it. Or is this kind of gives that flow to it rather than kind of going up and over that word. Again, that's just sort of a aesthetic choice, how I want to arrange the top of that word. Kind of like how that fits up in that area. Okay, so I'm going to commit to that. And that's basically it as far as completing this assignment. This is the third part, final part, and that's it.